I'm Illuminati, and this is the DM Journal, written by a DM about DMing for DMs. And I have discovered that dungeon mastering is a lot like pizza. During Christmas break, I ran a one-shot for some of my group members. These are characters that we use when we can't play our main group because we don't want anybody to feel left out, but we all have that itch of Dungeons and Dragons that we have to scratch. So I ran a little one-shot for them. I tried to make it Christmas themed, and it was fine. It was like pizza. It's generally always good. It's rare to ruin pizza. Pizza is generally okay. Even the bad pizza is pretty decent. And I don't think this was a bad session by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, a lot of people had fun. They got some loot that was way over-leveled, because I did not prepare. Well, I mean, I did prepare, I had little to no motivation. It's in this weird moment where it's between Christmas and New Year's, and it's the longest I've had off of work in a few months, and I had little to no energy, so I did a lot of random tables. I learned that the treasure tables in the DMG are organized by rarity, so when I had all my players roll on a random treasure table, I probably should have done a lower level treasure. uh, but that's okay. It worked out fine. Nothing too OP happened, and the person that got the most OP loot is a very good person and a dungeon master himself, and he loves playing, so he knows not to do meta, and he didn't take advantage of anything, which was very nice of him. I gave him the Rod of Lordly Might. I didn't know it was the Rod of Lordly Might. I didn't realize it was a legendary item. I was just rolling random numbers at that point. Serves me right for not paying attention. Which I guess kind of brings me to my main point. Well, I mean, my main point was that pizza and dungeon master and that metaphor. I like to think, anyway, that I learn something each time I run a game or paint a picture or make a pizza. I'm always trying to learn something to gain a better grasp of the skill, because I don't know if I will ever be satisfied with my skill level. Maybe when it gets to a point where I'm consistently proud of it and consistently produce good things, then maybe I'll feel, consistently happy and proud of the things that I produce. But until such time, I try to remain neutral, and I try to find the silver lining. I try to find things that I can improve upon and things that I have learned. So, the stuff that I learned in this past session was, even if a monster says that it's a deadly encounter, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a deadly encounter. I had my players fight a Behir. They're only level 5, and for their party number and level, according to the book anyway, a Behir was supposed to be a deadly level encounter. But it didn't quite work out that way. It was a much easier fight than I was expecting. Apparently, even if a monster is tough, at a certain point, numbers just take over. So, because my main group is a big group, I'm gonna have to remember to make fights hard, like single targets, unless they have lair actions. I've got a party of 6 people now. Unless very rarely will they ever fight a giant single monster unless it's gonna have lair actions, because it's just not fair. The fights just are not balanced that way. So that is going to be something that I just learn going forward. The other thing I've noticed a deficiency, a place that I need to get better, which is a much better way of phrasing it. I would like to get better at descriptions. Now, I'm not trying to be Matt Mercer, even though I've been marathoning the early Critical Role. The Whitestone arc is just... I just love it. But I mean, to be fair, part of the reason why those games are as long as they are is that the players describe what they want to do, and then Mercer describes what they are doing again in a fancier, better, amazing way of his, which is a fine way of DMing, but I don't know if that's ever going to be my style of DMing. I tend to lose steam right in the middle of a description or anything, really, even in mid-sentence. My mind wanders, or a thought grabs me, and I zoom 50 miles away from here, or I just lose confidence. I have it, and then all of a sudden, it's like Wile E. Coyote. I have run off the cliff face, and I thought there was solid ground underneath me, and there's no solid ground. It's just air and my, the yawning river of defeat below me, and there's nothing between me and it. So I need to work on that aspect of DMing and learning how to sustain, or either sustain the cartoon run to where even if I've made a horrible mistake, I'm going so fast I don't notice it, or to be aware of the cliffs and avoid them. Those are one of those two options, or something I need to do. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. But it's a work in progress. I'll figure it out eventually. Other than that, there's not much to report. It's a sleepy holiday thing. In terms of other news, the only other news I have to show off is my artwork. Speaking of the Bahir, I recently made this little thing. It is a mixture of watercolor and embroidery, and it is going to hang on my wall somewhere because I'm very proud of it and thinking about doing a series. So yeah, DMing is like pizza, and it's good, but it can always get better, I guess. And it tastes good with pineapple. So, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.